We're getting ready for the upcoming City Council meeting set for Tuesday, the 4th day of February, 2020. From Farmers Branch City Hall, this is the 107th edition of Council Countdown on FBTV. Hello again, everyone. I'm Tom Bryson. During the next few minutes, we're going to go into detail on the upcoming City Council consent agenda and run down other items on the regular agenda at this third regular meeting for calendar year 2020. First up, after ceremonial items and a report on study session, members of the council will consider items placed on that all-important consent portion of the agenda. There are a total of 5 items on the February 4th consent agenda. Agenda item H1 is to consider approving the City Council meeting minutes of January 21st, 2020. Item H2 is to consider adopting ordinance number 3619, ordering a general election to be held on May 2nd for the purpose of electing the mayor and city council member District 2. In accordance with the general laws and constitution of the state of Texas and the charter of the city of Farmers Branch, a municipal officer's election is to be held on the first Saturday in May. The term for the mayor and city council member for District 2 will expire in May. It is necessary for the city council to order an election to be held on May 2nd for the purpose of electing the mayor and a member for city council District 2. City administration recommends approving ordinance number 3619. Agenda item H3 is to consider approving resolution number 2020-007, authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with W&M Environmental, a division of Braun Intertech Corporation, for the completion of the environmental investigation and closure under the Texas Voluntary Cleanup Program for city properties at 2710 and 2784 Valwood Parkway. The city-owned properties at the corner of Dennis Lane and Valwood Parkway, that is 2710 and 2784 Valwood Parkway, potentially have environmental issues. The city would like to assess the contamination level and remediate the properties to residential land use standards. This requires extensive environmental assessment and potential remediation of the soil and/or groundwater under the properties. W&M Environmental provides such services. 2784 Valwood Parkway was a former Exxon gas station from about 1965 to 1987 and contained 4 underground storage tanks, 3 for gasoline and 1 for waste oil. The tanks were removed in 1989 and a release was reported, resulting in a leaking petroleum storage tank case with the Texas the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. The facility was extensively investigated and groundwater was monitored for multiple years. The incident was closed in March of 1992. The adjoining property at 2788 Valwood Parkway historically contained a dry cleaner business that experienced a release of dry cleaning solvent. The soil and groundwater at this property was contaminated and a plume of chlorinated volatile organic compounds migrated north in the groundwater flow to the 2784 Valwood Parkway property and further under Valwood Parkway and the property beyond. The facility entered the voluntary cleanup program in 1997. After remediation activities, the case was closed in September of 2008. The closure of the case contained deed restrictions on a number of affected properties in the area, including the 2784 and a portion of the 2710 Valwood property. The restrictions include the use and exposure to contaminated groundwater is prohibited, and residential land use is prohibited until chemicals of concern no longer exceed levels of public health. The site parcels being considered for redevelopment for senior living purposes and will require additional environmental work to demonstrate conformance with TCEQ deed restrictions. The approach to address these issues, as proposed by W&M Environmental, is to review existing information to identify historical concentrations of contaminants in soil and groundwater, meet with TCEQ to discuss change in land use to allow residential development and verify program requirements, prepare a work plan describing tasks to meet TCEQ requirements, re-enter the 2 development parcels into the voluntary cleanup program, agreed to provide monthly or quarterly updates to TCEQ on the progress of the project, formally restrict groundwater use in the affected areas by implementation of a municipal settings designation or MSD, select the site and other contiguous city-owned and private properties to be included within the MSD boundary, since costs to expand the MSD boundary are nominal and the benefits can be enjoyed by other properties for future use. Commission a boundary survey of the MSD parcels, obtain approval for an MSD from the City of Farmers Branch requiring a 5-mile water well review, public notice, water well owners notices, site signage, a public meeting, and City Council approval. Obtain a resolution of support for the MSD from the City of Carrollton, which is located within a half mile and maintains an emergency water well supply located within 5 miles. This requires a city meeting and city council appearance. Carrollton has approved an ROS for 2 previous MSDs in Farmers Branch. Obtain certification of the MSD from TCEQ. Conduct additional soil sampling to demonstrate that shallow soil conditions on the 2 parcels satisfy the residential and use standards. If the areas are above residential standards in the soil with elevated concentrations will be removed and disposed. Submit technical documents to TCEQ demonstrating that groundwater use is restricted and soil meets residential land use standards. File certificate of completion with the property records and plug monitoring well and dispose of investigative wastes. City Administration recommends approving resolution number 2020-007, agenda item H4. Is to consider approving resolution number 2020-009, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and enter into a contractual agreement with Johnson & Sons for the installation of a commercial epoxy floor for the service center project. City Administration, with the assistance of the construction manager, publicly advertised and accepted competitive sealed bids for work, equipment, and materials related to the installation of a commercial epoxy floor for the service center project. The bids received were opened on January 20th and publicly read by the construction manager in the presence of the city's purchasing agent. The city's construction manager assisted the city in evaluating the lowest and most responsible bid. City Administration reviewed bid recommendations and concurred with the recommendation to award the contract to Johnson & Sons for $63,860. This contract is within the current not-to-exceed project budget of $7 million. The project is pay-as-you-go from the non-bond utility CIP fund. City Administration recommends approving resolution number 2020-009, and agenda item H5 is to consider approving resolution number 2020-014, awarding the 2019-2020 annual supply of small water meters and a unit price purchase to Core and Main LP. The Public Works Department requested bids for the 2019-2020 annual supply of small water meters. Bids were prepared using estimated quantities and are awarded on a unit price basis. The proposed contract is for a 1-year period with an option for up to 3 additional 1-year renewal periods if agreeable by both parties. Funds are available in the current Public Works operating budget. This contract is also a continuance of a program converting all meters to electronic reading format. It is Public Works' intention to replace non-electronic, damaged, or non-operating meters with the new, more efficient, and more accurate electronic reading meters. Currently, more than 50% of all meters in the city are electronic. 3 bids were received and opened on January 9th. Core and Main LP submitted the lowest bid, that is the lowest unit price bid in the amount of $77,773 for a 1-year period with the option to renew for 3 additional 1-year periods if agreeable to both parties. City Administration recommends approving resolution number 2020-014. That was it for the consent agenda. On the regular agenda for this 3rd regular meeting in 2020, agenda item I1 is to receive an update from Dallas Medical Center. And very quickly, agenda item I2 is to receive an update on the Farmers Branch Power Switch program. In addition, the council may recess into closed session, but will then reconvene into regular session to take any necessary action. And that will do it for the February 4th agenda. For more information on those items or the full agenda, log on at farmersbranchtx.gov. Every regular meeting of the Farmers Branch City Council can be seen live on FBTV, that is Spectrum Cable Channel 16, here in Farmers Branch, AT&T UVerse Channel 99 throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, or online at www.farmersbranchtx.gov. This City Council information program will be made available simultaneous to the agenda posting on the Friday before each regular City Council meeting and will air prior to the live meeting as well as before all council meeting replays here on FBTV. That replay schedule is at 6 p.m., 7 days a week. All meetings are subject to change, so stay tuned to FBTV for any updates and more information. In the meantime, the February 4th meeting of the City Council starts at 6 p.m. this Tuesday evening here at Farmers Branch City Hall. We certainly hope to see you here. Until then, for everyone here in the studio, I'm Tom Bryson. You're watching continuing coverage of the Farmers Branch City Council on FBTV. Please stay with us.